Yep. When you fall into people-pleasing sin, turn to God for forgiveness and realignment.
Mm-hmm.
Because people-pleasing is the gateway drug to disobedience.
Yes.
A biblical example of that is Saul. Saul is made, children of Israel, God is leading them. They like, God, we don't want you to lead us no more. We want a king like everybody else. We want to be like everybody else. We see all these other nations, they got a king leading them, going out to battle and all of this.
Mm-hmm.
God, we want to be like them. And God tells the prophet Samuel, he says, okay, let them know what a king's going to do to them. How he's going to take their children, how he's going to take their children, put them in his army, how he's going to take this, and he's going to take. And they heard all that. They said, we don't care, God, because we want to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And this is how many families are, and this is how many people in the body of Christ is. We want to be so much like the world that we'll tell God, God, we good with you leading us, but let us be like them.
Yeah.
And so God raises him up a king. He says he makes Saul the king. And watch, Saul don't even want to be king. Mm-hmm. They have to chase him the day he's supposed to be anointed to be king. They find him hiding and everything. And they pull him out of hiding and they make him king. Mm-hmm. And so he's king and God is trying to speak to him. But there's a problem with Saul. He doesn't really love God. He's chosen for the people, but he's not really connected to God. Mm-hmm. So God has given him instructions on things to do, and he either does them halfway or no way. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing we must understand. Partial obedience to God is full disobedience to God.
Yeah.
And so God gives him, he said, hey, I want you to go this place. These people didn't treat my people right. I want you to go, and I want you to wipe everything out. Mm-hmm. Kill everybody. Destroy everything. I don't want nothing standing. Saul goes. He conquers the place. He sees good things. He sees good sheep. He sees nice clothing. And he thought the king could help him, so he doesn't destroy everything. Mm-hmm. And so Samuel shows up and like, hey, did you do what God said do? He says, yes, I did it. Mm-hmm. And Samuel says, why do I hear sheep? Mm. And he doesn't take accountability for it. He says, the people. Mm. And watch this. Because he was so focused on people pleasing, it pushed him into disobedience, and God eventually rejected Saul and brought up David to be king instead. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you something? Has God had to replace you because you wouldn't trust him enough to do what he told you to do? Yeah. Next week, we're going to start a new series on vision. And I believe there are some people that God has called to alive that to help in certain ways, but we have gotten caught up with just being online. We got caught up in just being comfortable, and we haven't begun to do what God has called for us to do, even in ministry, to help impact the people that we're supposed to impact. And I don't want God to have to skip over you.
Yeah.
I want you to be as blessed as God desires for you to be blessed, but you can't do this if you're so focused on people pleasing.
Yep.
So if we're going to please God over pleasing people, what are 4 facts to remember? 4 facts to remember. The first one, what's the first one, Lady E?
Even God can't please everyone. Even if my father and mother abandon me, the Lord will hold me close. Psalms 27:10.
And so watch this. Even God can't please everybody. Mm-hmm. So why do you think you can? Mm-hmm. I want you to really think about that.
Yep.
The God of the universe, the God who stepped out on nothing and created everything, the God who heals the sick, the God who raises the dead, The God who sent his only begotten son, born of a Virgin Mary. The God who sacrificed his only begotten. The God who raised up his son. The God who's going to send his son. The God who parted seas. The God who does miracle after miracle after miracle. And he still can't please everybody. Why do you think you can?
And I've heard this. When you leave this world and you're standing before God, he's going to ask you, what did you do with what I gave you? He don't want to hear, well, so-and-so told me not to do that. No. It's just you and God. And you're going to have to give an account for everything that he told you to do that you didn't move on because maybe you were listening to other people and you let other people stop you. So when you leave this earth, there is no, well, mama said this and my cousin said that and my best friend said, no, God is going to say, well, what did you do? There is nobody else. This is what you do. So you have to know you can't please everybody. Jesus had to leave his hometown because the people could not receive from him because they were just too familiar. And so he had to go somewhere else because they were not willing to receive from him. But he didn't quit ministry because they didn't receive. No, he just went somewhere else. So you have to be willing to make drastic changes and do what God is calling you to do no matter what.
Yeah, and that goes back to Psalms 27 and 10, where it says, even my father and my mother abandoned me, the Lord will hold me close, which leads to our second point. I don't need anyone's approval to be happy.
That's right.
I don't need anyone's approval to be happy. Your happiness cannot be in other people.
That's right.
Can I blow your mind? Even married people, your happiness cannot be connected to your spouse. There are people who are walking around single and unhappy who think marriage is going to make them happy because now I'm in a relationship and this is going to make me happy. If you're not happy before you get into the relationship, you're not going to be happy after you get into the relationship.
Because all it's going to do is magnify what's already there. So if you're lonely and unhappy, you get married, you're going to be even more lonely and unhappy when you get married. And you're going to make somebody else's life miserable. And happiness is fleeting. Happiness is fleeting because some days you're happy and some days you're not. But joy is what stays around. When you can have joy no matter what every single day, the joy of the Lord is your strength. Happiness, he didn't say happiness. He said the joy of the Lord is your strength. And so happiness comes and goes. You can be happy 1 hour, the next hour you ain't so happy. So you have to learn how to like yourself, love yourself. And when you do that, then you attract others to you that are on the same path as you. Because if you're miserable, being with somebody else is not going to make you happy. It's going to make you more miserable. It's going to magnify what's already there.
And one of the reasons why we can't be happy is we're operating too much in comparison.
Yeah.
I've heard this quote: "Comparison is the thief of joy." What? The problem with comparison is comparison don't allow you to see what the person went through to get to the point that you're comparing them to.
Right.
Sometimes we're comparing ourselves to people who, let's just be honest, are so much further along in life or doing whatever we see them doing, and we miss their struggle.
Yeah.
We miss their pain. We miss what they went through to get to this point because many of us think they just woke up one morning. We've heard this overnight success. There's no such thing as an overnight success because when you hear the story, when you hear their background, when you hear what they went through, it was years and years and years of putting in work and doing things that where nobody else saw for them to get to this point. So when you come along and now you're comparing yourself to somebody who's been doing what you just started doing for 5 months, who they've been doing it for 5 years or 15 years, and you want to be right where they are, but you ain't paid the price that they paid.
Right.
You haven't been through the struggle that they've been through. You haven't been through the ups and the downs that they've been through. So sometimes you got to take a pause and not compare yourself to them, but allow yourself to use them as encouragement. Because you can start saying, God, if you did it for them, God, if you brought them to that place, then you can do it for me. Now I'm not comparing myself to them. I'm using them as encouragement to help push myself to go further in whatever I'm doing.